Hi everyone. I'm back doing another live. This one's going to be about a recent Dragon Reiki session that I did for someone. And this one was very beautiful. There was a lot of healing that happened in this session. And I'm just going to share one part of it. There were many different scenes that I saw and was led to I was guided to work in different areas. And when I say me, it's really the dragons that are guiding these sessions. The work has changed for me. I guess it's maybe not changed. The dragons have always been leading and guiding, but a few months ago it was very, very clear that my job was to see and share what was happening during a session, so almost like narrating the healing that was happening. And you'll understand more of what I mean by this. The dragons literally show me what's going on. They literally tell me where they're working, and I'm holding space for that to happen, which means I'm facilitating, and I'm really allowing them to do the work. And for anyone that is familiar with Reiki, and maybe even more traditional Reiki, it is universal life force energy. Universal, so to me it comes from source. You can say whatever name feels comfortable to you when you think of source energy, creator energy, God, goddess. Your crown opens, the energy moves through the practitioner's crown, down through their body and out through their hands. So even with traditional Reiki, the session is not guided by the practitioner. The practitioner is not directing the energy. And in fact, again, this may be a repeat for those that practice Reiki or receive Reiki. You can put your hands anywhere on somebody's body and Reiki will go to where it is needed the most. So if you start with your hands at somebody's head, and if their lower back or a knee hurts, or their ankle or their shoulder, that's where the energy will go. The body takes the energy to where it's needed the most, and the way that the energy works is that it knows where it needs to go in the body. So it is never really the practitioner guiding the session. So very similar with the dragons come in and they tell me where they're working. Okay, so I will say that this part of what made this very special was that this session was done for a little boy. His mom reached out to me and said, can you or would you do a session for my son? He's very little, I won't say his age, but she says he talks to dragons, he sees them at night. I think she said he works with them. And she was just curious as to what a Dragon Reiki session would be like for him. So before she scheduled it, I did have a conversation with her and say that this is really more of a healing session. I do not advertise it as a reading. It's more of a healing session. And we both agreed, because he was so little, that I would do the session with her present. It would be recorded, then she would share information with him afterwards. And so what happened is he was sleeping at the time that the session was taking place. So anyway, and like I said, I'm not gonna go into all the details of everything that happened, but there was this one particular part of when I was working, or the dragons were working, and they showed me that this little boy showed me him in another lifetime. So he was a man, in this life, and he had stepped away from the village that he lived in. So what I mean by that is he might have been out hunting, he might have been out playing, he might have just gone on a long walk or a journey. And on returning back to the village that he lived in, the scene that I saw was that there had been a fire, that there had been a devastation, and that sadly the whole village was gone, and he did not make it in time to help anyone or save anyone. But when he arrived, there was still some like embers and smoke, so the fire had died down, but it, it wasn't fully out. And he came upon the scene of like watching this place that he had called home, and these people that he knew and lived with just gone. And I could see and feel, I could see him and feel him. And as he was looking on what was left, his heart was broken. He was just devastated. I'm not saying that people didn't survive and that there weren't people that escaped, but you could see that there were many lives that were lost. And I see, it feels like the fire was set on purpose. Like this village was burned to the ground. So it feels intentional. So as I'm witnessing this, I'm seeing him watch this scene and feeling his heart ache and heartbreak. What the next thing that I feel is, I feel in front of him a green dragon wisping away this hurt and pain energetically from his heart, because he had carried a lot of pain in his heart after this and in subsequent lifetimes. And so he was carrying guilt and pain and sadness and heartbreak. And so there was some energy that the dragons needed to clear from his heart space, which they were doing. And then what I saw was in his back. So we have our heart chakra. We have the front of the heart chakra, and then we have the back of the heart chakra. And what they showed me in the back was a box. It was a rectangle, and it was a dark green and also a black on his back, but there was all of this, it was open. So there was this energy that was like seeping out of his heart chakra. And that was telling me that there was all this pain that he was carrying there. And it was time for that to be released. All the heaviness, the darkness, the black was an indication of the pain and the heaviness. So that the dragon showed me this box, and that they were also clearing that. And as they were working, I was holding space and doing what I could to clear that. And that went on for a little bit, maybe a couple minutes, maybe 5 or so. And then the next thing I saw, and this was kind of magical and fantastical, was this. So as I'm seeing this rectangular box, and as I mentioned, there was a green dragon working on the front of the heart chakra. Now I'm seeing a green dragon appear behind this man. Very tall, very dark green, kind of like the color of the tall bushes that I have in the background here, and maybe even a little darker. And that dragon had been this man's, had been a helper, had been a dragon guide and helper. So it was was with him in that lifetime, and it was showing up again in this healing to remind him that he has been with him in other lifetimes. And I'm sharing this, of course, with the mother so that she can relay this to the little boy that, you know, he's worked with dragons before. This is not the first time he's worked with dragons, but he's done this before. And then what I see is this really big green dragon spread its wings out. It's a very large dragon, so when it spread its wings out, it was quite massive. And then there was this invitation for other magical beings to create, like to close the circle, to create a circle where this village had burned. And so what was happening now is there was a ceremony to honor the souls and the people that had passed. And if there were any souls that were still there that had not crossed over and gone back to source, that this was an invitation for those souls to be to go back to the light. And while that was happening, there was also work being done on the land to heal the land, because the land absorbs energy when there is such a devastating loss like this, that you know, there are fires that are like natural fires, but this was not a natural fire. This was set on purpose, and there were lives lost, and that was the intention. So there was, you can imagine the people in panic and terror as this was happening, trying to save themselves and their family, maybe some belongings. So all of those emotions, if they are not released, those can stay stored in the land. And so this ceremony that was being done with the dragons and these other beings was really to shift and clear the energy that was in this on this land. Now, I don't know where this was. My feeling, my sense is like somewhere maybe in the UK or Ireland or something like that. And any healing that was done in this session would now have shifted that land, wherever that land is. Anyone that walks that land that may have felt a heaviness before, it will be different now. I cannot guarantee 100% that all of it cleared, but there was a lot that did clear. And this was very moving for me to witness, and I know that the mother was very moved by this as well. So I just wanted to share with her that, you know, this was her son in another lifetime, and that his soul in this lifetime remembered that other lifetime, recalled that lifetime that he had, so that he could complete the circle. He could bring healing to this time where confusion doesn't even begin to describe it, just utter devastation and loss. So this was to bring healing to him, to what he had experienced in that life, and to help him move forward and not to carry that heaviness, because sometimes we will feel something very heavy and old, and we don't know where it comes from. And a lot of times it's because of other lifetimes that we've had, where we've experienced things like this that have been so difficult and painful. So I think that might be all of what I want to share. I mean, that sort of completes that. I asked for Saint Germain and the Violet Flame to come in and to do any further clearing that needed to happen there. So I really just wanted to share this beautiful a moment or a part of a dragon healing session that went into some past life work, Yeah, past life work. I know there was clearing of ancestral things, but mostly past life work. Land clearing, land clearing that the dragons are really, really good at. It's like one of their gifts to help with land clearing, whether that's physical land, water, air. So yeah, thank you for watching. Some of the things that I am privileged to witness in these sessions, this is very, very deep healing. This is very sacred work. And you know, sometimes I will say I do Dragon Reiki and I might do a quick post, but it's hard really to put into words like what I actually feel and see during a session and how that may actually impact someone. So I figured I would share in a video to be able to convey it in a different way, so maybe you could feel some of the things I was feeling or seeing. And again, I do have permission from the mother to share this. I'm not sharing any details of any names or anything like that, but you know, can I promise that this is something that you could experience in a Dragon Reiki session? I don't know. It's whatever your soul is ready to heal or release or that needs help with. Again, I'm not guiding it. I'm not asking for something to come in. I am simply asking for what needs to come in, what is going to help support this person to come in. And the dragons just step forward and say, yep, we got this, we're ready, we know exactly what needs to happen. And that's where I do step aside and I let the guidance come in. So if this somehow resonated with you or touched you, it may be touching a past life that you were in where you felt a loss like this. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fire, but where you felt such a devastating loss to a community or within your family. Maybe you were the only person that survived something and that you held the sadness and the grief for a long time. Maybe you weren't able to clear it and release it and bring peace to it in that lifetime or in this lifetime. So if any of this has spoken to you and has provided like a door to open for healing, I really do invite you to use that for healing. Okay, thanks so much for watching. And if you'd like to share anything in the comments, please do. Thank you again.